what experiences have you had in school that tell you that there's something going on racially around you?
Around here?
Uh,
Oh, okay.
in your school situation growing up?
You know, children can be mean.
Really?
Yeah. So you see it in class. You see, you know, you hear name calling. My daughter is 13 now, and I mean, it's fresher because she's going through it right now. And someone actually called her a nigger, and I was like, that's not okay. You know, they were dealt with that at school, but it was, you know, by, you know, bringing them to the office and talking with them and things of that nature. But it's being in school, sometimes you'll have it within your own race. You have, you know, the bullying and things of that nature. But, you know, my daughter, she just loves people. And that's how I raised her. You know, she had white dolls and black dolls. You know, I wanted her to embrace different cultures. You know, I speak Spanish. I wanted her to understand, like, it's okay to learn different languages so that you can be able to communicate more with different people. And, you know, it really hurt my heart to know that I had to have that conversation with someone in 7th grade last year. I think is when someone called her that name. It was either 6th or 7th grade. That hurt my heart. And it was somebody who she cared about, and she tried to make excuses for that behavior. And I was like, the student was like, you know, I didn't think I did anything wrong or say anything wrong, but I think it also goes back to home. You know, that's not even okay for me to joke and say. I wouldn't approve for my daughter to even joke and say anything like that, or even something like a joking racial thing to someone else. Like, I don't agree with that because you wouldn't like it to be done to you. And my mom always told me to treat people how you want to be treated. So, you know, I think about how we communicate, how we, in school,
do you think it was different for you growing up in school than what you're seeing your daughter go through?
I would say she has been around more cultures. So being in Miami, there was a lot of racism with different cultures, more so than race. So, you know, there were a lot of Cubans and Haitians growing up during, you know, when I was growing up. And so they experienced a lot more than I did. I went to schools where there was a lot of mixture of different cultures, but I didn't go to school where it was predominantly white population. So I didn't have the experiences like what my daughter lives in a community where it's, you know, it's the makeup is so different than the way I grew up. I grew up in a community where there was we lived right off of the street that separated the whites from the blacks. And so even within my community, it was like, okay, you live on the white side, and and whites would say I lived on the black side because I was that close to the line. They actually had a riot or something like that on that street before I was born, between the two races. To describe like how close it was. And there was even question about like how Coconut Grove came about. You know, I heard that the Bahamians historically the Bahamians came in, the railroad people working on the railroads and things of that nature. But then you hear other stories from, like there was, that it had nothing to do with blacks. You understand?
Mhm.
So those kinds of things make you wonder, where you feel like some of your culture is taken from you and given to someone else just because they say it and it's accepted is without your permission.
Mhm.
But growing up in Coconut Grove, my mom was very protective of me, so I didn't go, like, I wasn't one to walk around the streets by myself except to go to and from school or around the corner to my god sister's house or to a friend, but I pretty much stayed nearby.
Mhm.
And within, I wasn't around a lot of different cultures except for if I was at school
Mhm.
or for a program or something like that.